Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2022 Round 1 Grid Finder World Sprint Championships with SOP. A little bit of change in the commentary box tonight. You're normally used to hearing a Scottish voice now, I'm sure. But you've got me tonight, Alex Roth, who commentates with John from time to time, and I am on my own for the first time in the SOP commentary box. As I've already mentioned, tonight's and the rest of the series is sponsored by Grid Finder themselves. We'll go into a little bit more about that in a moment, as the silver cars are currently on track putting in their qualifying lap times. The AM cars, or the red box on your left hand side of the screen if you're not used to ACC, have already been out and set their lap times in the first 10 minutes of this qualifying session. Tonight we're at Laguna Seca. Some love it, some hate it. I personally could give or take it, to be honest. 2.2 miles of tarmac in California, not too far away from the Sand City beach, if any of you have been there at all. And we're just riding on board at the moment with Vaughan himself in the BMW M4, the SOP's number 55 car there, as he comes up towards the back end here. This track is known for its corkscrew turn, which I'm sure we'll see plenty of action at tonight, side by side, as we go into this later. I think we're expecting about 45 cars on track this evening, which is going to be a full grid for this event. We've got a yellow flag at the moment. We'll have a little look at that in a moment. A bit of background tonight. So we've got 11 drivers from the SOP esports team themselves, this event host. We've got 8 drivers from the Rookie Monsters racing team, and I tell you what, their cars look absolutely fantastic. Their liveries that they've done are brilliant. I'm sure we'll see plenty of action from them later on in the race, which is underway in 12 minutes time. We've got 5 drivers from the AKM Racing UK. Lee King McGee there in his Bentley, we've seen earlier today in the practice session. We've got 4 drivers from the Sausage Dodgers racing team as well, 2 drivers from the ERS team, and Mike and Nelson Abrenhoser, who are grandson and granddad racing together, with a sprinkling of other drivers as well that we've got across the SOP community. And that is what makes up this World Sprint Championship you're watching tonight. If you're in the chat, have a little look at keeping me company tonight. Like I say, I'm on my own for the first time with SOP, so by all means, we call Nelson Grandad, but he's my uncle. So that was John's mess up, I believe. I think I was with him when he made that originally. Evening, Mike, how are you? A commentator I can understand. Can we make notes of these? Can we write these down for when John comes back? Because he is going to lead the rest of this series on the Wednesday night, and I think I'm going to look after the British series as well later on. But I'm sure we can take the mick out of John for his Scottish accent. Jump on board with Jurich now, the car number 44 Mercedes, as he comes up towards the corkscrew there. Let's just try and give you a better shot of him running his way through there. And as I've already mentioned once tonight, and I'm going to continue to mention throughout the evening, tonight's Grid Finder World Sprint Championships. Grid Finder, if you want to find a community to race with, you want some liveries making, you want a commentator, a broadcaster for your community, then head over there. There's thousands of communities alike where you can get involved, get stuck in, and find them on there. Those some of those liveries on there as well that you can be have created for you are fantastic. I've used it myself, and it's not just ACC they use. They've got R Factor, iRacing as well, with 30 other racing titles to pick from. So big shout out as well to Ben Crooks, who gave us a follow earlier and subscribed to our channel. I believe he is racing in our British GT Championship replica series as well. So big thank you to him. I'm sure we look forward to seeing you on track. You'll make it on our broadcast then as well. About to make an attempt not dying. What's it like out there, Mike? Are you enjoying it, or is it a little bit interesting? Carry it on the high glide. Enjoy, that's good luck. I prefer John. I didn't think the niceties would last too long in that chat. It doesn't take you a lot long to get your feet under the rug with someone new behind the microphone and start abusing them, does it? So we're still on board with Jurich, and as I was talking now, I took my attention off him at the corkscrew, but luckily he's just about to make it back up with him again. I've got an idea. Let's ride on board with his dash. We'll go with the on-board cameras, just because they look a little bit better as he comes through the left and then the right, looking quite stable through there. And he's currently running P4 overall. Don't forget we've got the pro cars still to go out, or who are out now I should say, but there's no times on the board yet. And Alfie Barron leading the way there, car number 22, who's obviously now in the pits. He's back in there in that McLaren. Jensen Button 22, obviously. Don't know whether that's why he picked the number or whether there's another reason for it, but I'm sure you can associate many of these numbers. Look at some of these cars tonight. I'll do a proper grid walk at the start of the race when the grid has formed and we can just take in some of these liveries, but there's been some really good work put into these over the last couple of weeks, that's for sure. So let's just try and find our leader now on track, the car number 47, Bussing, because he's leading the pack in that Honda as he comes round towards the back end of the circuit there. And in at 6 up towards the corkscrew, and he will set his first lap time shortly, I am sure. So let's just look at the standing as it stands at the moment. As I said earlier, we've got Alfie Barron there in P1, Tacchini in P2, and James Rawlins in P3. But obviously, please remember that these times are provisional, as not all classes set their times at the same time. And as I mentioned, keep your questions, conversations, and topics of discussion in the chat. And you can keep me company for the next 60 minutes. Not that I'll need keeping company, because SOP races obviously never fail to amuse or entertain anyone. There's normally some action in the last 5 minutes, and it's normally when we look away from the screen. So I'll do my best to give you that coverage this evening. 11 turns around Laguna Seca. For those of you that don't know it, as I said earlier, some love it, some hate it. It's one of those tracks that's a bit like Marmite, really. You either get on with it or you don't. So let's just jump on board with some more of these pro drivers now. Luca Tavanari there, very familiar name in the SOP community. And don't forget that we had our World Endurance Championship start on Sunday as well at Kyalami. I was in the comms box with John for about 2 hours in total, I think, over Sunday. That was that provided some excellent entertainment, which interestingly proved to a very interesting result towards the end of that race as well. There's never a dull moment, even in a 6-hour race, 8-hour race, 24-hour race. There's always something going on in the SOP races that we've got. Let's just have a look at Lee King McGee there, that Bentley I was telling you about earlier. Doesn't that look lovely? The AKM there, as he comes through the corkscrew, looking pretty planted through there. These drivers have been practicing. I would like to say they've been practicing all the time, but judging by some of the messages that we've seen in the Discord this week, it looks like practice has been pretty scarce for some of these drivers out there. So track temperature 31 and the air temperature 23. They'll obviously the pressures will be set to match what practice they've been doing. Shouldn't be too much of a shock to any of these drivers out on the track this evening as Lee crosses the line to start his second flying lap, and he's 3/10 off the lead there, which is obviously what we're going to see here is an evolving track, I would think. If you look, then drivers there still splitting between the Silvers and the AM cars, so I would have thought we're going to see some track evolution or tyre evolution that may benefit the drivers. Oh, sorry, Jester, I didn't see your comment there in the chat. I was just trying to scroll down to see it there. I thought I heard something ping. I believe it's PlayStation and Xbox as well. I think it's all racing communities and all racing platforms, which is obviously another one of its appealing features it's got. I will double check for you in a bit, but I'm fairly certain it covers all the platforms, and it certainly covers PlayStation and Grid Finder as far as I'm aware. And we'll come off board with Lee King McGee there as he is now on his second timed lap. Let's come on board with Liam Page there in that BMW M4, that wonderful livery that he's got there that he's running this evening, the number 7 car, as he comes round the final corner. He's 7/10 up on this particular lap with 5 minutes left to qualifying to go. He's going to improve his time, but how much? He goes P2. As I said, those second laps that we were expecting to see were definitely faster than those original laps, so there's some tyre warming up and tyre evolution going on there as we expected with 5 minutes left of this qualifying session. That's just jumbled up the starting grid a little bit more, and it's starting to resemble something that we would expect to see. Christian Romano, he's in that wonderful Eclipse Racing Esports Mercedes outside, and one of them other liveries that I was telling you about earlier. Some of these look fantastic. The car number 40 there as he races down now towards turn 6, the left-hander. Don't take too much wide exit of this curb, otherwise it bounces you out into that gravel there, which he's just done exactly that. I apologise if that is the commentator's curse, Christian, because that's not what you wanted at all on that lap. You were up on your time. Lee King McGee's a 10th up on this particular occasion as well. Tabanari's 4/10 up on this particular lap as well, as he's around the back end of the circuit going towards the corkscrew. As you can see, the real camber and the twists and turns that these cars go through there. It's very easy to get that wrong, and I'm not a betting man, but I would say if you were a betting man, let's put some money on seeing someone go down that corkscrew backwards tonight into that barrier. Not that we wish any of these drivers to do it, but I would have thought we're going to see it at some point. We'd be stupid to think otherwise. Harry confirming there what I thought, so the PlayStation, Xbox and PC. Yeah, I did think it was. That answers your question, Jester. Hope you're well. I believe you popped in for a bit on Sunday afternoon as well. Hugh Morris just comes in to the pits. We're currently in P12. Range bar here, P7 as it stands at the moment. The Porsche car number 5, the SOP Porsche, that is there, going around towards, down towards turn 5 there. The left-hander in a moment. Sometimes it's tricky to get the braking points right on this corner, but that might just be me. Any drivers in the chat, you can tell me what you think of this particular circuit. I'm not a massive fan, although it is fun. A bit like Paul Ricard, it always turns out to be more fun than what you originally think it might be. Stafford just keeping it in the lines there, as we saw earlier. It's very hard to do that, because sometimes you can run off into the gravel and it just sort of pulls you in and sucks you in. That Porsche looks absolutely planted through there, which is fantastic to see. Car number 7 then is just leaving the pits, and that is, I believe, car number 7 was Liam Page earlier, was it not? It is, as he's now on his out lap to start his, well, it'll be his final stint now, with 3 minutes left to qualifying before the racing is underway this evening. The SOP BMW M4 there making his way around the back end of the circuit. Turn 6 up towards the corkscrew. We'll just jump on board with his rear wing as he goes down through the corkscrew here, just to show you the camber, the twists and the turns that these cars do. It really is. You can see where it gets its name, and this particular part of the track as well isn't overly pleasant. I've never found myself. Luca Tavanari currently at P1 with a 122 dead. Bussing not far behind with a 10th down. I assume there is 3/10 back as well in the Ferrari 49 car there. Liam Page has been dropped 2 seconds, but we know he's out on track trying to improve as it stands at the moment. What I should have said before we started all this stream as well is if I get any pronunciations of names wrong, or any team members or relatives or friends of anyone, please do correct me. I'm not going to get all these names right this evening, but following the series we will get there, probably for the last race, but we'll certainly get there. But please do just correct me, because it'll be a lot easier than me saying it wrong, a lot less painful for people to listen to. Savinari here as well. Bussing is a 10th up, but Liam Page is a 10th up. Liam Page needs to find 3/10 there if he wants a chance at pole this afternoon at this Californian circuit. And unfortunately the deltas on the timing screens are very reflective of positive times. Car number 45 there, yellow flag. Is that what we saw earlier? It is. He just returned to garage. That's that turn that pulls you into the gravel between 5 and 6. Back on board with Liam Page now. 1 minute and 30 seconds left of this qualifying session as he goes up towards the corkscrew. It's the right dab of the brakes, trying to keep the car stable. Left and then right again without invalidating your time. It's quite tempting to cut that corner a bit more than what you can, as he now brings it around the back end of the circuit in sector 3, heading towards turn 10, and then in towards turn 11. Slow it right down. He is currently a second down on this lap, so we're not going to see him improve there. Leaky McGee was a 10th up earlier that we saw. Car number 9 there. AKM Racing UK's best at the moment is a 122.5, so again he's just sitting 5/10 off that P1 position. Looking at these timing screens today, you can see there 1 second covers the top 13 cars this afternoon, so that is going to be a very tight race indeed if this pace is representative. Today's race has got a mandatory pit stop with tyre requirement only, so again we'll see a variation of strategies there, I am sure. 30 seconds left of this qualifying session now. Leaky McGee 3/10 up as he now approaches turn 10. It's just that squirt of throttle down towards turn 11. Whether we can get it right, let's just right on board with him now. As he in the UK's Bentley, the AKM Racing UK car number 9 into the turn 11 there, keep it nice and tidy on the exit. Put flat on the floor now, way to the line. Still 3/10 up. Can he improve? He does. He goes 4th fastest, a 2/10 off P1. Liam Page, he is still on his qualifying lap, as you just see the front left there pull him in towards the corkscrew. Not what he want to be doing there. Assume there 1/10 up. 1/10 up will give him P4 at least, if he can manage to make that Ferrari in the Rookie Monsters as he comes up now towards turn 10. This is one of them Rookie Monsters liveries that I was telling you about earlier. They've got an array of a rainbow, and he just runs a little bit wide there on the exit of 10 towards 11. And we're seeing a lot of drivers in the pits now, so I don't think we're going to see too much change of this starting grid now, as I assume crosses the line to go P2. The 49 Ferrari there, P2, 100th off pole. I don't know whether he's going to be happy with that or kicking himself for that, because 100th really is not a lot at all, and that there is your top 3 for qualifying of this round 1 2022 Grid Finder World Sprint Championships. As I was saying earlier, tonight's championship and the entire series is sponsored by Grid Finder. If you want to find yourself a community to race with across 30 different racing platforms on PC, console, PlayStation and Xbox, head over to Grid Finder. Also, you can get yourself a nice brand new livery designed, or you can even find broadcasters and commentators for your communities as well. They've got over 1,000 communities now that actively engage with them. Head over to their website and get involved with them as well. They're sponsoring the entire series, this SOP Sprint Championships. Right, okay, there is your qualifying for what we will do. I'll try and string a sentence together. What we will do is we'll take a grid walk in a moment, and I'm going to show you some of those liveries that we've seen. Great comments in the chat there, great community. And once we can get on the grid, we will do a grid walk, and I'm going to show you some of these fantastic liveries that have been submitted for this race. There's a particular Aston Martin that I want to show you that you will be very familiar with if you are a Formula 1 fan as well. Let's be honest, who isn't? And I'm just waiting for the race session to start now and that grid to form. So Tavanari there with a 1:22 dead. Set that quite early on in the session, and it was not beaten, even though the Ferrari 49er, the Rookie Monsters Ferrari, got within 100th of a second of him, thus sink a 10th back. So those two are very close there. That start of that race is going to be very interesting indeed. See these cars going up and down on the race. Mike and Ted, this is going to be a tough out. It's going to be tough. You can do it, Mike. You can do it. It's Evening Grid Finder. We've just introduced you as our title sponsor for this evening's race. And we shall continue to mention the word Grid Finder. I think we ought to have had a bet of how many times that we can refer to that this evening and get involved with the community that offers. Perfect timing. And there we go. There is your race starting there. What we will do now is I'm going to jump on board. This bit, unfortunately, is not particularly elegant because it's not easily done remotely with the broadcast tool. So what we will do now is we will take a nice little walk down this grid, and I'm going to show you some of these liveries that we've got this evening. The Rookie Monsters Alexis there, Tavanari's the car number 46, looks fantastic in that yellow. I did tell you they've got some great liveries there tonight. We've got Massoum's there for the Ferrari there, the number 49, another one of them great liveries that we've seen. You have to make this a quick grid walk with 1 minute 43 to go. Another one of the Rookie Monsters there. We should have just called this the Rookie Monsters Championship and not let anybody else enter. They're hogging the grid. Look at this, P1, 2, 3 and 4. The Porsche there as well. AKM's Racing, Lee King McGee's wonderful Bentley there. Moving further down, there we go. We've got the SOP BMW M4. Moving further down the grid, we've got another SOP Ferrari there, another Rookie Monsters Ferrari there, sorry. Moving further down, the Eclipse Audi, the Eclipse Mercedes as well. Some more of our SOP Indigo Lime. The McLaren looks particularly nice there. The Aston Martin V12, one of the best sounding cars ever, never mind just in this game. Let's move further down the grid. Some of these cars look fantastic, and I did say a lot of effort have been put into these. I think I might Grid Finder. These liveries, the liveries are fantastic. I was sorting them out for today's broadcast, and I did stop and look at them all because some of them look fantastic. I mean, look at these two M4s here. They look fantastic, and not forgetting the SOP BMW behind. As we make our way, another one of the AKM Aston Martins there. We've got 23 seconds to go until the formation lap go. And this is what I was telling you about earlier. This Koenigsegg Aston Martin there, very familiar to the Formula 1 car, which I previously mentioned. Let me just resume back to my broadcast tour. We'll go on the rear wing with Tavanari as he now takes us round this formation lap of the first round of the Grid Finder World Sprint Championships with SOP at Laguna Seca, the California track, 2.2 miles. Track temperature is 30, and we will undertake this formation lap now. And as I've mentioned already, this entire series is sponsored by Grid Finder, and they have given us the support that we need to make things happen for you today as well. And if you need a community to race with, a livery creating, broadcasters, commentating teams for your communities as well, head over to Grid Finder for PC, PS and Xbox, with over 1,000 communities and 30 different racing titles, which include ACC, iRacing and R Factor 2. We are racing at Laguna Seca this evening, and the race is about to be underway. We've got 60 minutes here this evening with one mandatory pit stop. We've got a tyre change only. We've got Luca Tavanari there leading his way around, leading the pack around towards the back of the track as we approach turn 6 up towards this corkscrew. Wouldn't be surprised if we don't see any of these cars spin out on their formation lap this evening. Good luck everybody racing and the teams that we've got involved this evening. The eager rookie monsters there pushing their way forwards. 1, 2, 3 and 4 with the AK and Bentley staring them down. Leaky McGee will be keen to get underway and try and take at least one of those into turn 1. I'm sure we'll be seeing some action somewhere along the line. We're going to ride on board with Elko Busink at the start of this race, which gives us a good breadth of field across in towards turn 1. And the corkscrew will, I'm sure, provide some action as well. Track temperature 30 degrees, ambient temperature 22, a grid of 45 cars. Luca Tavanari on pole, and an SOP Sprint Series. What could possibly go wrong as they now approach the green lights? The first round of this 2022 Grid Finder World Sprint Championships, and we are going to be racing very shortly. We are racing now as they head down towards turn 1, jumping back on board with Luca Tavanari there as he goes in towards turn 1. We've got another one of the rookie monsters there going a very peculiar line in towards turn 1 there. That's we've got contact there, which has just taken one of the SOP. I think that must be Liam Page that's gone around. Staying on board with Luca Tavanari now as he leads now down towards turn 3s and 4. We'll have a look at that incident in a bit later on, as we'll just go a bit further back and let's ride on board with another one of the rookie monsters in a moment. While my timing screen updates, Luca Tavanari could not have had a better start there. It was absolutely perfect for him as he now continues to lead the pack. We've still got a yellow flag back down at turn 1. I'll take our attention to that in a moment. I just don't want to take our eyes off this lead at the moment. Busink down in P5. We see him go wide into turn 1, avoiding that contact, which ultimately saw Liam Page spin around. The car number 7, the BMW M4, was around in turn 1 as they now go down towards the corkscrew, the left and the right. Let's see if we've got any form of incidents here. All cars still on track at the moment, apart from the tap. Hugh Morris is in the pits. He must have been caught up in that turn 1 incident, which we will have a look at shortly. All cars seem to be well underway as it stands at the moment, as Lucas Tavanaro takes them around in towards turn 11, and he will start the second lap of this sprint race this evening. We've still got no yellow flags. I'm taking that as a result for everybody watching. Leon Seeley there, P15 as it stands at the moment for the SOP Motorsport in the Audi. He's going to work his way up. He's actually just got the fastest lap, but obviously that is meaningless. That's fastest lap when it was a rolling start, but I suppose it is a claim to fame somewhere, which Ben Sullivan has just taken off him as well. Another particularly good starter there was Ben Sullivan in that BMW M4 as he now comes around to start his first lap. We've got two cars in the pit lane as well, which is Tim Williams and Kenny Marlade as well. The car number 327 and the car number 797, which I'm assuming must have also been caught up in that turn 1 carnage. On board with Christian Romano, P12 in that amazing Mercedes, the Italian driver there, keeping it nice and steady on the track as he now goes through turn 6 up towards the corkscrew, which again we saw earlier there was no contact at all on that first lap. We are 3 minutes into the first race of this series and we've not yet had any major disasters. This SOP series is always guaranteed some action towards the end of these races. Leaky McGee there, P6. He's keeping that Bentley nice and tamed at the moment. On the back of his rear wing there, you can just see the car number 5 there, looking down, ready to take him down when he can, as he stays on board as he now starts his third lap of this race. Down towards turn 1, very tricky braking point, off camber and slightly around to the corner. Mustafa Ranchbar there, the Porsche still looking behind him, and he's got the Ferrari of Ian Egan behind him as well, looking quite keen to try and take that place as soon as he can. Helicopter will show that one a little bit better as he now comes up towards turn 4, and it's a quick squirt of the throttle down towards turn 5 as well. Luca Tavanari, car number 46, still leading the way, and that gap that he's got at the moment is substantial, 1.2 seconds, and we're only a short way into this race. That gap's only going to get bigger at this current race unless anyone can stop him. Of course, we've got the pit stops where anything could change, but these guys at Rookie Monsters know exactly what they're doing. That is a significant lead he's got already. A bit further back there, we've got the Ferrari of Massoum, the car number 49, all hot on his tail. He's now 1.5 seconds back as he follows Tavanari leading into the corkscrew. A bit further back than that, we've got Tony McCoffin there, and he is the French driver, I believe, the car number 48, as he now comes up towards turn 10. So this Rookie Monsters 1, 2, 3 and 4, with the Honda as well of Bussink not far behind. He went a little bit wide into turn 1. He should be a bit further up the road, and he knows that, so this is now becoming a bit of a recovery drive for him. I say recovery drive from P4, it's not a particularly bad place to be, but considering his start he had, he'll want to try and make up some of those places. But he's got Lee King McGee, as you can see on the back of his rear wing, hunting him down a bit now as well. Their last lap times was actually very similar, with Lee just being a little bit faster than the car in front. That number 9 at Bentley is soon going to be on his rear bumper, and it's going to be going from attack to defend. Lee still got orange bar on his tail as well. The car number 5, the Porsche, just jump on board with him and we can see exactly what it looks like from his perspective as he now comes up towards turn 5. Very important not to get any of the curb on the exit here, otherwise it does pull you into that gravel and then there is no saving it at all. You can see on the track map there on the right hand side as well, that gap that Luca Tavanari that managed to take out already is substantial. Invalid lap there from 2 cars behind, which will be Alfie Barron. Did say it's quite difficult to keep the car on the track. That'll be one of his track warnings unless he did not gain an advantage. You can see how planted that Porsche is through there, Ranchbar, who is now 7/10 off Lee King McGee. That gap's now 2 seconds at the front. Riding on board with Luca Tavanari then, as you can see, that Lexus come around the final corner of turn 11 as he goes across the line to start his 5th lap of this sprint race this evening. The Italian driver there keeping that Lexus tamed and under control at all times. Ian Egan, P7, that Ferrari there, 989, as he now starts his 5th lap of this race as well. How many times am I going to say the word Grand Prix instead of race as well? I think it should be a fine every time I do that. I've nearly said it twice already. As he now comes around towards turn 3, hot on the tail of Mustafa Ranchbar as well. The car number 5 Porsche, we know he's hunting down Lee King Middy. A bit further down the back of the grid now, P23 is Ben Sullivan. We've seen Ben's potential, we know what he can do, and he'll be working his way through the field now as he actually just lost a place to Abram, I believe. The car number 21 McLaren as he comes up towards turn 3. 999 there. The AMCO will be very pleased with that move on board with the helicopter, just to give us a better view of what it looks like with the SOP Liam Page, car number 7, LM4. Oh, a little bit squirrely on the exit there. You see his back end twitch. I wonder whether that was him pushing too much or whether that's related to the update that we've seen recently with ACC, as he is all over the back of that M4 as well. Jumping on board with Liam, he's 4/10 up on this lap. You can see there he's constantly fighting that wheel as he goes up now towards the corkscrew. Let's have a look at what the inputs are like from Liam as he goes through here and see how that BMW is handling. I would have thought he'll have some tyre damage as well from that early knock that he had into turn 1. Looks fairly solid at the moment, but he's definitely all over the back of that M4, and Ben Sullivan's soon going to see the rear end of Liam Page's car when he passes him. I think there's an overtake brewing there we're going to see very shortly. We might even see it now as he dives down the inside of turn 11 and he makes it stick. That's a brave move through there. Ben did see him coming, but again, great move by Liam. Makes his way back up into P24 after getting knocked on lap 1. That's a fantastic move that we've just seen there. Hey Dora. Thank you, how's it going? Oh yeah, it's your first time viewing an SOP stream. Liam Page just gets tapped there as he goes in, and he's just lost those places. He made up, that wasn't. That's going to be tight. Abram there defending with that McLaren like no tomorrow. Liam's just going to try and go up the inside now, turn 4 down towards turn 5. You can see that BMW really is giving him some jip through that corner there. And he goes to the inside to cover and defend his line with the car number 51 there, Campus behind. Looking like he's going to try, and Abram is round. He is round, and let's just see what sort of damage he is going to get from that. It was Mike, I believe, who's back on the track. He's now heading down towards turn 6, up towards corkscrew. I believe he's got away without any damage, and he's only lost a few places as well. He was doing so well to defend that place that he had before then as well. Of course, Christensen 5/10 up on his current lap, chasing down the car in front, which is the car number 789 Ferrari. And this elite racing team will be very happy with their progress. Got another yellow flag in sector 2, the car number 34. Just going to try and work out who that is and take us there if we can, as we stay on board with Christensen. And we will soon see who that is. That is Peter Jeffrey there, the car number 34, which is the AKM Racing Aston Martin, who has managed to get himself back underway and is currently running P37. Looks like he's just getting out of the way for those faster cars there. Great racing etiquette, although not needed to do that, but I can understand if I was in his position, I'd want to be out of the way of them cars as well, because I've been in this position and I'm always in this position when I'm racing. So I can understand exactly what he's doing there, as he also then lets the sister teams come through, the other AKM Racing, which is the Mercedes and the Aston Martin that you saw there. There's 4 of those, I believe, on the circuit tonight. Luca Tavanari now got an outstanding 2.5 second lead as he crosses the line to start his 8th lap of this sprint race this afternoon. McCubbin there in the car number 48, the Porsche. He's just set the fastest lap, which is a 1:22.2. That's not all too far off the qualifying pace that we saw. So that's going to be interesting as that develops. Tavanari is a 10th up on this lap, and he only needs to find 3/10 to get that fastest lap back. Ranchbar in at P6, still hunting down Lee King McGee, and you can see Ian Egan's not too far behind either, although that gap is just starting to drop against his favour as they go towards turn 4 now. Ranchbar is absolutely in control of that Porsche this evening with 49 minutes left to go. We've had 10 minutes of racing. We've not had a lead change, but we've had plenty of action further down the back of the field. Hugh Morris still in the pits. He is retired from this race. Nelson Pinto running in at P38 there. As you can see, that Mercedes, his fastest lap at the moment is a 1:25, just letting Nelly McLaren go through. Don't think that was under a blue flag, but he has served his pit stop already, so he has got the undercut in his favour as he stays on the back of Abram there in the McLaren, which is the car number 21, so that would have been a blue flag. Mark Bunyan there in P33, the SOP McLaren there, the car number 4. Looking lovely as ever. Some of these liveries look absolutely fantastic this evening. 49 minutes left of this race, and he's on the back of that Aston Martin gap on Exant Racing already as he goes past him on the outside there towards turn 5 down towards turn 6. The silver car will be happy with his progress. Liam Page back up into P22, started at the front of the grid. He will not be happy that he was spun in turn 1, but he's going to work his way back up as quick as he can. We saw that excellent move that he made earlier in towards turn 11, so we know the aggression is there as he runs a little bit wide between 10 and 11 there as well. Someone's taken out the brake marker of 11 as well, so that some of those drivers will be confused by that, I'm sure. It's the worst thing possible when you're racing, having brake markers removed. It's especially when you use them and don't use physical features, but I guess there's lessons to be learnt there as well. Liam Page sets one of his best laps as well on that particular occasion. He's 2/10 up as he goes in towards turn 1. Leon Seeley there, P23. He's going to be hunting down Liam Page, although he's a little bit further up the road. He's 3 seconds up the road from Leon at the moment, and there's a little bit of a train forming there. We'll stay on board with that battle as we go into this race. Just going to jump back on board with the leader just to show you how big a gap that Luca Tavanari's now got. He's 3.5 seconds in the lead. He's already getting his blue flags for him. If I go on his rear wing there, you can just see, look at the gap. You can see the gap, how visually big that is. He's made a massive lead already with only 12 minutes of running into this sprint race. As he comes towards turn 1, no sign of those tyres or anything giving him any chip yet. So far we've only had the back runners that have pitted at the beginning of the race. Williams, Sherlock, Blanchetti, Marlade, Pryor, Jeffrey, Pinto and Maleda, who's in the pits now serving his pit stop. He's been there 32 seconds, so I'm going to guess he is going to go for a he will be doing his tyre change as well, but I'm wondering whether he will be serving his mandatory or whether that's for damage. Back on board with Mike Abramhose, as we know he had that spin earlier between 5 and 6. Nice and clean on the exit there, fighting that McLaren a little bit as he's got an excellent view of this battle in front of him. So I will try and jump on board with that now. I'm on board with Albright now. His car 35 Aston Martin is going to try and go round the outside of turn 1. Can he switch it back on the M4 of James Horn? He can't. James puts that car exactly where he needed to there to prevent the overtake from the Aston Martin that's all over the back of him as they now go down towards turn 4. His next opportunity will possibly in towards 6. If not, he's going to have to wait until the sector 3 where we saw Liam Page make that outstanding move earlier on in towards turn 11. I'm just going to jump on the back of James's rear wing, and you can see the Aston Martin there hunting him down. Does sound lovely, the BMW M4. Sorry for that brief amount of silence there, but I've got to keep drinking, otherwise you won't hear me at all by the end of this race. Ben Sullivan there in his fantastic SD Racing 999 BMW there. Looks fantastic as that comes round the end of his 9th lap of this race already. On the back of Raphael's Campus as he now heads down towards turn 1 with him on his tail. Liam Page is a 10th up on this particular occasion as 45 minutes left of this race with plenty of pit stops still to come. Anything could happen, and as you can see there, he has got a line of 1, 2, 3, 4 silver cars that he's going to want to be overtaking pretty sharpish to get himself back into that points haul where he was at the beginning of this race. I don't think it'll take him too long to dispatch some of these drivers. His pace at the moment is around the 23s. The guys in front are lapping at the 24s, so it's not going to take him long to dispatch these at all, and we know he's prepared to make the moves. We've seen it happen, and I'm sure we're going to see it happen again very shortly. We'll come back to that towards the end of sector 3 because that's when the moves are going to come. Luca Tavanari now 4.5 seconds ahead. That's going to be a 6-7 second gap before he even thinks about pitting. So we've seen him before in the previous series on a Wednesday night. He likes to stretch things a little bit long and then make the pit then. James Rawlins there in the SOP Academy McLaren, the car number 93. He's in his little sandwich here as he goes up towards the turn 3 and 4. Now, lots of gravel around here, of course, so not a lot of opportunities to get things wrong or correct it if you do run wide. Let's jump on board with his dashboard there, as you see him heading down towards turns 4 and 5. And as you can see, it's the pink parade at the moment, pink in front, pink behind, and pink in front even more, as they now head up toward turn 5 and then down towards the corkscrew. Let's find Liam Page and see exactly how he's getting on dispatching those cars in front. He's still got the Aston Martin's bumper for view at the moment, as he's now going to go up towards turns 5 and 6 to make his way through the corkscrew. He's just going to be biding this time here, and he will send the move as soon as he gets the opportunity. We've seen him do it before. I know we will see him do it again. Cristiano Romano there, he is P10 at the moment, the car number 40 of the Mercedes, which looks absolutely amazing in that livery. There's been some real good work on these liveries. You've just joined us, you're watching the 2022 Grid Finder World Sprint Championship, sponsored by Grid Finder themselves. And we've even got them in the chat this evening for our own company, and we're currently on board with Christian Romano in the car number 40 Mercedes, the ERS, as he now goes around to start his 13th lap of this sprint race this evening. He has got the Ferrari's Rookie Monsters for company behind him. We're going to jump back on board though with Liam Page and see how he's getting on with dispatching that Aston Martin he's got in front. He's currently side by side with the 76 McLaren, which is Klaus Christensen, I believe it is. They're still side by side. Let's jump on board the helicopter and get a better view of this battle. And there you go, Liam's getting a little bit scruffy on the exit there, and we'll see a bit of snap here is what I would think. We've seen it all afternoon and during practice as well. Looks like he's lost a bit of time here trying to fight this McLaren. Klaus Christensen putting that McLaren exactly where he needed to defend that 19th place. Liam's going to want to get by these three as quickly as he can to get into the pit window of the front runners. As we now stay on board with him as he goes up towards the corkscrew. Starts his 14th lap now around this sprint race this evening. He's still got this trail of silver cars in front of him, but obviously once he's dispatched these three, he's then still going to make his way through another batch of silver cars before it's on the back of Camillo in that Pro McLaren, which I believe is one of the SOP cars as well. It is, and it does look stunning, as you can see there as he now comes around turns 5 down towards 6. The green accents there on the wheels make it look even better for the Indigo Line Racing as well, as he now goes up and he's in a bit of a pink train himself on the back of the yellow Ferrari. The gap at the front now, just to give you an idea, is still at 4.5 seconds. Now we probably think that Tavanari is probably controlling that pace now. He's got a comfortable gap. His lap times are currently at 22.815, and his best is a 22.5, so he's probably just controlling that pace now, and why push yourself anymore when you don't need to, as he's looking to dispatch the 36th place Ferrari that's in front of him. Ooh, that looks like he may have taken a bit too much gravel there on the exit. Let's jump on board with whoever that was. It was Kenny Marley there. We see take the early pit stop. The 327 Ferrari is taking his pit, and he's back out on track, and he's going to keep going as the Ferrari of second place now comes through on the back of obviously Luca Savinari. Musa Masoom, as he now makes his way through the sector 2 part of the track. We've got another yellow flag in sector 1, which is the car number 797. While I find out who that is, I believe it's Tim Williams. It is, which is the BMW M4 of SD Racing, as he digs himself out of the gravel now, gets him way back underway. He's got a bunch of cars behind him. I hope he doesn't put himself in the way, because this is the battle, I believe, involving Liam Page. It is. As you can see, the McLaren and the Aston Martin there now on the back of BMW, that's going to be slowing down a bit. He's got gravel on his tyres. He's going to be very slippery on the exit of 6 up towards the corkscrew. I hope he doesn't go too wide. Manages to keep it on, but then you've got the Aston Martin coming through here. This is going to be blue flags for him. You can see the Aston Martin there flashing to get out of his way. He's going to try and stay right into the corkscrew, but it can only make his way round one. Oh, the Aston Martin there is not going to be particularly pleased with this battle that we're watching at the moment. We're going to jump on board with Liam Page. That's going to give us a better view of what's going on here. Let's jump on board with his bonnet cam, and you can see he's all over the back of that Course Christensen car number 76, and McLaren as they go around towards turn 11. You can see that the Aston Martin of Abramhosa has dispatched the BMW M4 that was under blue flags for him as well. Now he's going to be a bit further down the road. That's going to benefit him, while these two are still stuck behind the M4 going towards turn 1. The dirty air is not going to be helpful as we look at Liam Page looking and thinking about a dive down the inside. We've seen him do that once tonight already in towards turn 11, but he was a bit too far back on that particular occasion. The M4 getting out the way there, staying on the right hand side as he now goes up towards turn 3 and 4 on the back of that McLaren. Let's go a little bit further up the grid. Ian Egan currently in P6 coming around the corkscrew. That Ferrari looks like it's on rails. He's still got race bar for company behind. The Porsche number 5 as they now go up towards turns 10 and 11 this evening, and again both cars look like they're on rails, and I think this might actually be settled under pit stop conditions because it doesn't look like the pace is too similarly matched unless one of them can get lucky with blue flags. Alfie Barron we did see earlier, he was leading for the silver cast during qualifying, the car number 22 then the McLaren as he comes towards turn 1, starting his 17th lap of this sprint race this evening. 37 minutes left to go. Might start seeing some pit stop triggers shortly. We're 22 minutes into this race. Lucas Tavanari, your pole sitter, is still in the lead by 8.2 seconds. It just goes to show that that pace control I was mentioning earlier was a load of rubbish. Shouldn't listen to me at all, and he must have just had a blue flag lap because that pace is right back on it now, and he's setting 22s every single lap. The consistency is unreal. The next nearest person to him is Mr. Mahoom in that 49 number Ferrari as he goes through the corkscrew himself. It looks like, ooh, I don't know, I think that might be his pinging a little bit high there rather than the game. So his teammate behind now, the Rookie Monsters there. This of course is a race amongst rivals within your team. It's time to show in your team who is the better driver. So these guys all race together on the Sunday Endurance Championships, and they race against each other on the Wednesday nights. We will be seeing some heated debates, I'm sure. Tomlinson Dennis there, yellow flag, sector 2. The car number 15 pulls himself out the gravel, the Audi there for the Eclipse Racing Esports team. Gets himself underway. The British driver will be very happy with the little damage it looks like he's got from that off. Certainly does from the off-board camera as he gets himself underway again in P22. Moving back down the grid, Lee King McGee there, P5. He's dispatched Ian Egan that was on his tail. Got the car number 55 causing a yellow flag at the end of sector 1 as well. I don't know who that's going to be. We'll have a little look at that shortly as we stand on the back of Lee for the time being. And there it is, the car that's round. I think that's going to be James Horn by the looks of that livery. I'll find him in a second and see how he's getting on out of that gravel. Still under the yellow flags there as Lee's on the back of the Honda of the Rookie Monsters. Honda as he goes down towards turn 6. I think it was James Horn. It is James Horn who has stopped on track and has returned to the garage. He's now in at the pit lane as well. Obviously his damage was too much for him to carry on there. Liam Page still in P17. He's dispatched those silver cars that he wanted to earlier, and he's got a bit of work to do now. He's got Abramhosa and Aston Martin still in front of him, and the McLaren has long gone that he was on the back of, so he's going to be trying to work his way through the grid. His race didn't get underway particularly well, so this is now very much a recovery drive from him. Lee King McGee there still on the back of the Rookie Monsters Honda as they head down towards turn 1 for the 19th lap of this race. We are 25 minutes into this race. We've not had a lead change, but we've had plenty of action further back down the field. The Ferrari there indicating out of the way for Lee to try and squeeze up the inside. Let's jump on the back of Bussink's rear wing now, and you can see Lee hunts him down in that wonderfully coloured, and there's his teammate, the AKM Racing team, the BMW. Let's Lee through. We'll be holding him up. You can imagine the conversations they're going to have in their Discord chat after this if he'd held him up there. On board with the Honda of Bussink. Car number 5 there. Oh, that's going to be Ranjbar, isn't it? The car number 5, the Span. He was all over the back of Lee King McGee for a moment ago, battling with Ian Egan. What's going on here? That is a shame, because his pace was incredible, and he really was just going to get in the way there of one of the Abramhouses as he comes through towards the turn 5 turn. Turn 6 turn, sorry, a bit further up the track than I thought. That is really disappointing. I wonder what's happened there to Mustafa Ranjbar as he has managed to spin himself off the track. As you can see, some interesting lines being taken there. Hugh Morris is still in the pits to go behind. Lee King McGee is serving his pit stop on his 19th lap of this race. He is the first of the front runners to pull that trigger. We have seen him, I believe it was in Massano, pull off one of the best undercuts I've ever seen on ACC. So let's see what he can do with that pit stop now. Bussink there. He's got the pressure off him for a bit, but with the undercut be powerful enough to make that move, he's going to have to respond to Lee King McGee by either pitting or picking up his pace sooner rather than later. With 30 minutes left to go, Ranjbar is also in the pits. That's to be expected after his spin. Them tyres will have had enough, certainly in this 30-degree heat in California this afternoon. I'm just trying to work out what's happened to Ian Egan, because Ian Egan was up there. He's in the pits as well. Looks like he's serving his pit stop. He does. He makes his way and he's behind Lee King McGee there. You can just see the Bentley race off into the distance. What is going to be really interesting now here is, are we going to see a response from Bussink to Lee King McGee's pit stop as he now makes his way up towards turn 11. Now is going to be the time to tell. Looks like he's staying to the right to me. He's missed the pit stop entry. He's staying out. Lee is now going to be trying to make that undercut work, so let's see what happens there as we jump on board with Alfie Barron in P5. Obviously that is a gross P5 given the pit stop situation. Still a very good race for him so far. He's lapping at the similar pace to P3 and back. Luca Tavanari staying out again for his lap. Jump on board with him. You can see that gap that he's got now is absolutely beyond ridiculous. The pace he's got is 8 seconds. We're 30 minutes into this race, he's got himself an 8-second lead. Bear in mind that in qualifying we only saw a 100th difference between the two of them. It just goes to show the difference, the pace that he's got under his race conditions, and we think that Lexus will probably get even faster. It's one of the cars that benefits from the lighter fuel tank. So he's only going to get faster and drive into the distance, but obviously blue flags are now going to cause him. And looking at that track map on the right, there's going to be very few occasions where you're going to get a clean lap in now to try and take that fastest lap back off his teammate, the car number 48 Porsche. We're covering there, Bussink there coming through the corkscrew now. Behind, he's in the AKM sandwich as he comes now towards the back of the track. He's got the Aston in front and the BMW behind. The blue flags will be waving away for that Aston Martin to get out of the way for the Honda. As it does, he goes up the inside of turns 10. Is he going to pit on this occasion? He's staying out again, so let's hope Lee King McGee has got that pace to close that gap. And you can see there he is also just coming around turn 3 now. I think the Bussink's out of that window for the time being, so he's safe. Ross Christensen there, P24, the car number 76. The McLaren as he now comes round on his 20th lap. Still got, he's served his pit stop, sorry, he's got Campos in front of him. The BMW, he's got to serve his pit stop, who is serving it now, so we'll see Christensen just jump up these standings on the left hand side shortly. There he goes as he makes that move in the pits. Liam Page, P24, drop back down again. Serve that pit stop though, he has got some in front still to serve as he now comes round to start his 21st lap of this race. The AKM BMW there taking a varied line to get out of the way of the cars behind. Luca Tavanari, it looks like Luca Tavanari has pitted, but he had that comfortable gap which he won't be too bothered about. You see the gap that he had, just to put it in proportion to you, he has still put him out in front of those lapping behind. So the gap that he created, the 8-second gap, it was perfectly safe for him to pull off that pit stop that he did earlier, and he's still come out in the top. I'm just trying to find him on my screen. Top 10, so he served his pit stop and he's still maintained P10 with everyone else in front of him still to pit. That just goes to show you the raw pace he's currently got, and he's running during this race this afternoon. So he's currently lapping. His last lap was a 2:14, but obviously that will include a 30-second pit stop, as we know. A bit longer actually than 30 seconds for him, so I wonder whether he got a little bit of damage from that turn 1 incident at all, although I don't think he did. He seemed to make it through pretty clean. Just see how on rails that is as he comes up towards the back of 33 Aston Martin now. Ranch bar there had that unfortunate spin all over the back of Ian Egan that we saw earlier. That was a great little battle. That's Leaky McGee, my apologies. And unfortunately he pitted in response to that. I'm guessing he must have flat spotted a tyre or something somewhere. So he's now running in P18. Got a 30-second stop-go penalty. Just flash up on my screen there for the car number 55, I believe that was. We'll move it way further down the grid. There it is. It is 51, sorry. It is Campus there, who was obviously speeding in the pit lane. I don't know whether he'll know he's actually got that yet or not, because I don't think it flags up on the game until you exit the pit stop. So we know something he doesn't, I believe. So he's going to get speeding pit lane fine as he's got that there. We go a bit further down the sorry, Lucas Taverneau has made his way up to P8 with Abramhoser and Seeley getting out of his way. The Audi and the Aston Martin being dispatched with plenty of ease there from the car number 46. As he now goes up towards the corkscrew himself, just right on board with his helmet cam, and see how that looks as he comes through here, chucks it into the left hand side, taking plenty of curve on the right, avoiding the dirty air of the Ferrari in front. That's another one of them liveries in front. That looks spectacular earlier in the showroom as I was uploading them. Jurich here, the car number 44 in the Mercedes. We won't judge him or disadvantage him on that car choice and number, comparing them together, as he's quite happily in P20 for the overall classes and the silvers. Just another 30-second stop-go penalty flash up there for Snell in the Porsche number 94, the AM driver this evening. That will be a speeding in the pit lane. Remember, there's no live stewarding for these sprint races, and everything is dealt with in the stewards room after the event for fairness reasons. That Mercedes looking pretty planted there. The team rookie monsters going up towards the corkscrew. Let's just take a look for things from his perspective as he goes up towards the corkscrew left. Has to take a little bit more curve there on the left by the looks of it to make it around. We are now 33 minutes into this race. We've got 26 minutes left. We've got cars all over the place, blue flags all over the place. We've had light taps, we've had slightly more than light taps, we've had spins, we've had flat spotted tyres, we've had gravel traps, and we've had some pit stops, and we've still got half of the race left to go. Luca Taverneau back up into P4, second up on this lap after his pit stop, making his way down towards P11. He's going to have to take a Bussink as well, who is serving the pit stop. Let's just have a look at Bussink as he exits the pit stop in a moment. Let's find Leaky McGee. He was going to try and go for the undercut. I don't know whether he's going to be able to do it or not, because he's a little bit further back than what he would like to have been. So this will be one hell of an undercut if Lee can pull it off, as he now comes up towards 10-11 himself. Takes the left-hander there quite well. As you can see, Bussink's nowhere to be seen in that pit stop. I think the pace of Bussink there has got away from him, and you can see, let's just find Bussink and we'll ride on board with him as he's in the pit lane exit there. As you can just see Lee coming to the top right hand corner of your screen there, and that is a clean exit there. So the overcut worked a little bit there for Bussink. He's going to be very happy with that, as he's now on the back of the Aston Martin himself. Hugh Morris in the pits, as I mentioned earlier, and we've also got a couple of other retirees from the race, Alex Phillips being one of them. James Horn is in the pits. We did see his car come around earlier this evening. I wonder whether he's running any damage and whether he will get that repaired or not. Mr. Flynn 1988, good evening to you, sir. How are you? Tim Williams there, 34th position, the car 797. Again, had a bit of an unfortunate incident earlier on in the race, but he's working his way back up through the pack. We've got a drive-through penalty there for Jeffrey. Now, my assumption is that's going to be track limit violation, because I can't think of what else you get the drive-through for. Repeated drive-through, I should say. So another, we've got a James Rawlins there, the car number 999, the BMW, which I believe is one of the DT Racing ones. We'll jump on board with him in a second. He's currently in P24. He's in the pits. He's going to be given a 30-second stop-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. There it is, the McLaren for SOP. As he now exits the pit stop, and he has cleared his 30-second stop-go penalty, which has dropped him back through the field for the silver British driver this evening. Abramhauser on his outlap as well. He's got the Liam Page BMW behind him, and he's a little bit close on the exit there. That BMW is very lively on the rear tonight, as we know. Let's just jump on board with him for a few moments and see what that looks like from his dashboard. Indeed, you can see the Aston Martin there still trying to wake his tyres up on his outlap. Liam's going to have so much more acceleration out of this corner than the Aston Martin. As you can see, just puts his car exactly in the right place. The Aston Martin in front defending like crazy of Abramhauser on board with his rear ring there. Liam Page is going to try and pull out into turn one, jumping on board with the helicopter there as he goes around the outside. Can Liam make it stick is the question. Looks like he's a little bit too far back on that particular occasion, as the Aston Martin takes a little bit of gravel there. There's a bit of contact there on the rear right of the Aston Martin. Liam's still too far back. Stay patient, Liam, don't push too hard. And the time will come to pass that. Aston has got the Porsche behind him. That is on under blue flags, and that is not for position. Looks like this battle might be going on a little bit longer, as Nelson continues to put that Aston Martin exactly where Liam doesn't want him to. There's very few places to overtake there now. Luca Tavanari still not got his lead back, but the two in front of him are yet to pit, which is Tio Anton and Matt Camillo. For the 333 and 762 cars there coming up towards the corkscrew. We're currently on board with Liam Page, who is trying to take back P12. So this pit stop, got Abramhauser in front of him, who is doing a superb job of defending with that Aston Martin in front. The SOP driver is trying to get by, but he just cannot. The Aston Martin had very cold tyres on the exit of his pit stop on his outlap, and you can see the tyres have come to life now, and that really is a different matter. The AKM Racing Aston Martin just getting out of the way there for this battle that continues on board. Let's jump on board with Liam as he now goes down towards turn one. No more penalties being issued at the moment, just a bit too far back now. Looks like that Aston Martin has come to life, and Nelson's going to be putting that car exactly where he needs to defend. Jumping on board with Luca Tavanari then as he now retakes his lead. The two drivers in front pitting. He's 28 laps into this race. The Italian driver has taken pole and led from start to finish, doing an absolutely fantastic job. The 46 car there. I wonder if he's a Rossi fan by any chance. Although that might just be me putting two and two together there. You can see the rear end getting quite lively there on the exit of that. Bit more, that's the most lively we've seen that car, considering he served his pit stop. I'm wondering whether that's him having a bit of fun, or whether his tyres were giving a bit of a jip there. Assume that is in the Ferrari. He is still in P2. He's 14 seconds off that lead now. So he's now just driving to secure his podium position of P2. The Indian driver there going up towards turns 4 and 5. Bussing there P4, we did see he had Lee King McGee for company a little bit earlier in this race. Lee tried the undercut, didn't quite pull it off, and ended up a little bit further back, but I think ultimately Bussing would have probably got past him again anyway. So as they now go up towards turn 6, he's all over the back of this Porsche as they go up towards the corkscrew. Going to jump on back of the rear wing of Tony. As they go up towards the corkscrew there, you can just see the nose of that Honda looking ever so racy behind him, saying, excuse me, I want that last podium place, I'm coming through. So let's see exactly what happens there. King Phoenix, one game crashing the pit stop, P9. Oh, that's gutted, man. Oh, I've gutted for you. I didn't realise that your game would crash there, that's a shame. Do you know what caused it, or are you living with it? Staying on board with Tony then, the French driver going up towards turn 1. Bussing's a little bit far back on this particular occasion to try and make a move stick. Oh, too far back again. This race is far from done. These two are going to be fighting it out, and that Honda, Bussing is there saying, excuse me, I really want that third step on the podium, but unfortunately that Porsche is getting in his way at the moment, and I think it's going to continue to until there. Tavanari is still miles up the road from anybody else. 15 seconds in the lead from the Italian driver. Led from start to present, and he also took pole position by 100th of a second. That pace has been reciprocated in the race this evening, as he is still so far up the road. He may as well be putting his feet up and opening the champagne already with 19 minutes left of this race to go. Lee King McGee, P5, that Bentley there, car number 9. We did see it attempt the undercut earlier, but unfortunately didn't quite pay off as he now goes through the corkscrew, turning left and right, taking a little bit of curb there. And the ping changing back and forward there, making the car look a little bit more unstable than it was. Cristiano Romano, P8, solid race for him so far, the Italian driver in the Mercedes. That Eclipse Mercedes does look lovely. That paint job is fantastic. We've seen some great liveries this race so far, and they are here for the entire series. Remember, this series is sponsored by Gridfinder themselves. This is the 2022 Gridfinder World Sprint Championships with SOP Motorsport. If you need yourself a community, a broadcaster, a commentator, a livery creating, then get yourself over towards Gridfinder and they will sort you out with over 1,000 communities and 30 different racing titles for PC, PlayStation and Xbox. As we stay on board with this next lap with Cristian Romano, he's about to start his 30th lap of this race in P8. Solid race for him so far with the branch bar behind. We did see him earlier challenging Lee King McGee, but unfortunately had that spin, and to be fair has had an excellent recovery since. It could have been a lot worse for him as he now stays on board. Going around the outside of that McLaren, getting out his way. Theo Anton there, P11 on his 30th lap. The other AKM racing car there. Remember, we've got several teams in here tonight, and in fact we've got 5 AKM drivers, sorry, and this is the Mercedes variant. That livery looking fantastic, might I add, as he now comes up towards turn 5. The car 762 there. Be very happy. He's had a solid race so far. Tavanari still in that lead. Lee King McGee. Let's just have a little look at this Bussink McCubbin fight there. Bussink's a little bit further back by the looks of things, and the Porsche's a little bit further up the road, and there could be one of two things there. That could be McCubbin turning his pace up, thinking I want this last podium spot, or it could be Bussink biding his time, waiting to pounce towards the end of this race. And we've got 17 minutes left to go, and we've got a lot of times. Sorry, I was just reading a message there from Simon himself, and I took my eye off the attention there, but as you can see, Bussink is still P4, hunting down that P3 place. Let's see what happens. Lee King McGee, P5, then that Bentley does look fantastic. The British driver there, the car number 9, as he makes his way up towards turn 6 into the corkscrew. Let's go a little bit further down the grid and see what's happening back here. Nelson Pinto there, P26 in the Mercedes. He's on the back of the McLaren. In front of the 555 McLaren, we've got James Rawlins a little bit further up in P25. That's SOP McLaren there, looks absolutely fantastic as well. He's now making his way up towards the corkscrew. Looks absolutely solid. Taking plenty of curb left and right there. Ben Sullivan, we rode on board with him at the start of this race. He is currently sat in P22, the 999 Mercedes. As you can see there, it's taken a bit of a battering during this race there. I think you might need some T-cuts at least to polish a little bit of that out, but it might need to go into the garage, but who knows. And you can just see the Bentley there of Lee King McGee go through with the blue flags, telling people to get out of my way. I'm coming through. Let's have a look at this Bussink fight there. Lee King McGee, he's gaining on the car in front, which is Bussink. You can see that pit stop earlier that he tried to make the undercut, and he is gaining on them again as we speak. I'm just going to take a very quick drink, otherwise I'm not going to be able to see the last few minutes of this race. Staying on board with Lee King McGee there. Apologies, I did need a quick drink, unfortunately. You wouldn't hear my voice at the end of this race. If not, I did do an hour on Sunday and spent the rest of the evening regretting not having a drink with me. Christian Romano there, P8 in the Eclipse Esport Racing Team Mercedes, looking absolutely fantastic as he now goes around the back end of this circuit into Sector 3. He's been very happy with his performance this afternoon. And he now takes that car. That car looks absolutely solid through there as well. Let's just have a little look at Lee King McGee, and you can see that train in front of him. He is very much going to be after that Honda just a bit further down the road. I'm sat here pointing at my screen thinking you can see what I'm pointing at, but you can see the orange Honda there in front of the Rookie Monsters Racing Team, and you can just see it gets out of the way for him there as he gets under blue flags. Lee's pace is substantially faster than Bussink's in front, so this race is coming to life with a few, 13 minutes left to go. Luca Tavanari, he's about to start his 34th lap, and he is 15 seconds down the road from the next nearest car. So he is very much looking forward to taking the checkered flag, I'm sure. Only 13 minutes left to go. We're lapping in the 1 minute 20s. We've not got many laps left to go. Alvin Barron moved his way up into P6 of the McLaren 22. British driver very happy this afternoon with that, I am sure, for the silver driver, as he now goes around the back end of the circuit of turns 10 and turns 11. Christian Romano still in P8 and Ranchbar in P9. Theo Anton in P11, and a bit further down, Liam Page made his way up into P12. He's dispatched the Aston Martin that we saw him fighting with earlier. The next car up the road from him is going to be Theo Anton, which is the Mercedes that we rode on board with a little bit earlier this evening. Let's just see on the back of his rear wing there for the AKM driver. You can see that there's a little bit of work to be done there by Liam as he now makes his way through the pack. Listen to the roar of this engine. It sounds absolutely fantastic. We're right on board with that. The Aston Martin V12, the SOP. Marcus's 78 Aston Martin in towards turn 1. He's on his 34th lap of this race. 34th lap of this race. Okay, Bussink there, you can see there's good board his rear wing. You'll be able to see a Bentley, I'm sure. You can just see it a little bit further back than what I thought it was going to be. I wonder what's happened to Lee, because he really was closing them down. He's a long way back actually compared to where he was. You can see as he now starts his 35th lap of this race this evening. Liam Page there, P12, might try and make his move on the Aston Martin that he seems to have got himself behind again, by the looks of things. So I'm not sure what's gone on there. Every time we come aboard with Liam Page, he seems to go backwards. Maybe we should stay on board with him for the whole race and wish him a bit more luck. And or maybe I've made that up. I don't know. I'm almost certain he was behind that Aston Martin, but we'll stay on board with him for a minute to see exactly what happens. On board with the helicopter in towards Corkscrew, hoping that McLaren keeps his nose out of the way. He does, and he makes his way around the blue flag back marker there on the back of that Aston Martin, heading down towards turns 10 and 11. 29 degrees now, track temperature starting to drop, not going to have too much impact on the cars at this moment in time. With only 10 minutes left of this race, the Californian state-owned track of Laguna Seca, only about 5 miles away from Sand City, on the coast of America, hosting a very wide range of events, of motorsport events in fact, home to lots of popular series actually, and it'd be quite good to see some more series there on the telly. But tonight all we've got to do is pull up with is me talking your way through this 2022 Gridfinder World Sprint Championships, unfortunately. But we'll stay on board with Liam for a little bit longer as he's now going to try and make his way. We've got a yellow flag in the Corkscrew with car number 34, which I believe belongs to Peter Jeffrey. We've seen him serve a drive-through penalty earlier today for track limits, and he's just got himself on his way again, which is the AKM Racing Aston Martin there. That's part of Lee King McGee, who is currently up at the front team that he has got there. Some of these lovelies do look fantastic. You can see the Mercedes is not too far behind him either. The car number 34 there takes the last corner, and he now starts his 34th lap of this race. Also Bussink there on the back of this Porsche again. This race is very much underway. He's been biding his time for a while with this one. He's all over the back of that car number 48 there, and he's going to try and dispatch him. He really wants that podium place. Whether he's going to get it or not though is yet to be seen. In 4th place Bussink there. This has been coming a while. Remember, Bussink had that off into turn 1 on the opening lap, so he was out of position. Be very much wanting that podium spot back. You can see Lee's there all over the back of him again, right above with his rear wing as he comes around the last corner there. You can just see the Bentley in the background now, turning around 10-11 down towards the straight. 8 minutes left of this race. If we're going to see anything happen with Bussink here, is he going to try and go around the outside? Ooh, the pause there going on the outside, trying to defend, with Bussink taking the inside. And you can just see there the Fanatec banner of that Porsche keeping his way in front. He's in P3 at the moment, with Bussink behind in P4. This race is far from done with 8 minutes left. Also, you've got to remember, Bussink's got Lee King-McGee for company behind. That's not going to take him too long to catch up either if Bussink's caught up too much. I don't want to take us away from this fight, because it's going to happen the second we switch array. These two really are on top of each other at this moment in time. Lee King-McGee, Sat Bentley getting ever more closer. The lap times are so close, with Lee King-McGee posting a 1:23 dead and Bussink posting a 1:22.922. So as you can see, they're virtually lapping at the same speed here. The Porsche is a little bit further ahead this time through the corkscrew, and we'll ride on board with his rear wing, as you can then see Bussink attack from that Honda. The French driver here putting this Porsche exactly where he needs to stay in front and hold that last podium position. P1 is definitely out of the equation, providing Tavanari has no issues or mistakes, which we've not yet seen happen at all during this race. He's currently gone flag to present, also maintained that pole position that we saw earlier by 100th of a second. The Honda's a bit too far back on this occasion, so that's going to be a fight that's going to build itself back up again, and maybe we might see that in the closing stages of this race. Liam Page there, he is in P13, the car number 36, and he has still got the rear view of that Aston Martin as his primary view. He's jumping on board with his helmet cam. You can see he's still not close enough to make that move that he wants to, although he did make a fantastic move early on in this race into turn 11, which we were fortunate to be on board with when it happened. I'm just going to grab myself another quick drink. I'll leave you on board with Liam for 30 seconds. Back. Liam is still working his way through this field. He's P13 and he cannot make his way past Nelson Abramhoser there, the car number 33, a little bit further down the road from him, and he is certainly stuck with 6 minutes left of this race. Lee King-McGee there closing in ever more on the back of that Honda in front of him. He's going to be really wanting that position. You can see the train starting to form here with the Porsche of McColvin in P3, the last podium spot currently with the Rookie Monsters Racing team. The team won't be too bothered either way, but remember, this is the sprint series. The team event happens on a Sunday. This is personal. As we stay on board with Lee, giving us the best angle we've got of the Honda chasing down the Porsche in front. We've got some blue flag back markers in the way here. That's going to be really annoying Bussink, I would think, as he had the pace that he had on that last lap would have been on the back of the Aston Martin sooner than what he thought, moving away further down the grid then for a brief moment. Leon Seeley P15, give you a better view of the corkscrew as he now makes his way through in the Audi, the SOP Audi. Looks lovely as ever, indigo lime on the front there. And you can see as he makes his way towards Sector 3, fairly planted. His fastest lap today is a 1:24.2, which is for the place that he's running in is a very respectable time indeed. Liam Page still P13. I'm keeping an eye on that battle for you, and we'll jump back to it. We don't want to miss anything at all there. Ben Sullivan there currently in P26 himself, and we rode on board with him earlier today. He's having a fairly solid race now. Unfortunately, you can see from the front of that BMW he did not have the greatest bits of luck, during this race, but he's persevered and he is still here, as you can see now. We've currently still got 39 cars running on the track. Alex Phillips there, the 22 car Bentley for AKM Racing, as he makes his way around to start his next lap of this race. Lucas Tavanaro there, you can just see that gap's now come down by a second, although when I say a second, it's still 14 seconds faster than anybody else behind him, so he won't be too bothered by that at all, especially with 4 minutes of this race left to go. We've got 2, maybe 3 laps, including the one we're on now of this race back. The winner more or less looks solid for us, and to be fair, you can't say he doesn't deserve it. He's led from start to finish. He's taken pole position, and we'll see exactly what happens as he now makes his way around turn 11 for the penultimate time of this race. Bussink there still trying to take that Porsche in front of him, although it looks less and less likely to happen as it stands at the moment. Lee King McGee, he's saying I want P5, he's saying I want P4 as well, as he's now going to try and make his way past the Honda. Let's ride on board with him. Let's go on board with his helmet cam actually and see exactly what it looks like from here. He's a bit further back on the exit there. Looks like the Honda got a much better exit out of 11, but that was the closest we've seen them yet since the pit stops, in fact. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens now with 3 minutes left of this race to go. Taking that apex absolutely perfectly. Double apex here, of course. It's quite difficult to correct if you get it wrong. Not very forgiving at all. These 3 now, remember, they're fighting for position. They're actually fighting for the podium position. 5 laps ago, you'd have said Lee King McGee was never going to get on the podium. So he's now looking after this. The AKM Aston Martin staying out the way there, doesn't want to get involved in this battle and be responsible for one of the podium places being lost. As we now go down towards turn 5, let's go on board with McCoffin there, as you can probably see on his rear wing. In fact, these 2 behind him fighting for position. So the Honda of Bussink's gone from attacking for the podium position to now having to defend to keep P4. So how things have changed in the last 5 minutes is beyond me. So we've got 2 minutes and 30 left to go. Ranchbar made his way back up into P8 after his disappointing spin. He's had a great recovery drive though, and it was very unlucky for him indeed. But Porsche known for looking backwards at times. Car number 5 there making his way round towards turn 5 and turn 6 down towards the corkscrew. After that, Liam Page in P13 is going to try and make his way in the inside of the Aston Martin, jumping aboard with a helicopter. Just too far back there. He was right level with him for a brief moment, and he would have sniffed that 12th place, which unfortunately was a bit too far back on that particular occasion. Certainly looks like this move is coming sooner rather than later if Liam can stay with him during the twisty part of the track. That's the problem. Liam's so much faster, his sector times are so much faster in sector 1, but then he loses all his time through sectors 2 and 3, and it's back to square 1 again. When he starts the Aston Martin there, looks like it's drifting out a bit wider than what he'd have wanted to early on in that apex. It's not over yet. Let's just see, you can see on his rear wing there, it's going forward with him there, driving through turn 6 up towards the corkscrew. And Aston Martin looks very appetising indeed, and he's going to think, I really want that position sooner rather than later. The black marker getting in the way here. That's got Liam has got a much better drive than that. Ooh, that's not the place to brake. Jeez, that was close. Back on board with the helicopters then. As this battle continues, we're going to see a move down into turn 1. Are we going to see the Aston Martin defend really well? The Aston Martin got the better drive out of the corner there. Let's go on board with Abram Hoser. As you can see, Liam Page now. And we're looking to make this move as soon as he possibly can. Looks like the Aston Martin got a good drive out the corner though. Liam looks like he's gaining on board with the helicopter there. We're going to see a last minute dive by Liam. Pulls out to the inside, unfortunately too far back. The Aston Martin runs wide and Liam takes him up the inside, and he takes that P12 that he's been fighting for the last 30 minutes on the last lap of this race. I did say if there's any action in these SOP events, it is always on the last lap. The Aston Martin looks like he's coming back for more though. He's a little bit too far back though, and Liam covers the inside perfectly. There's still 21 seconds left of this race to go, which means we've got at least one more lap for these, depending on where the leader is. Luca Tavanari now, he's coming up towards turn 6 himself. This will be the last lap for Liam Page and those behind. Let's just make sure that Aston Martin has not made another move at all on Liam. He's just too far back, so unless Liam makes a mistake, that place is now his. Let's have a look at Lee King McGee. Has made his way past Bussink by the looks of it. He's now going to try and go for that podium place, but it looks like the car in front has made his way away. Bussic's coming back for more action by the looks of things. We've still got over half a lap to go with these two. And we don't want to miss Tavanari taking a checkered flag, but equally we don't want to miss this battle as Lee King McGee has taken P4, working his way up towards the corkscrew now himself. He'll be very happy with his progress there. Look at Tavanari there coming around towards the end as he has taken the checkered flag. That is your first winner of round one of these Grid Finder World Sprint Championships. He's doing donuts. Not sure I'll be doing that there with Carl still on track himself, and that is a very solid drive for him. Let's just jump back to that action here. Lee King McGee looks like he's ran wide. I said that would happen if we jump off board with him, and looks like he has gone backwards, and he is going to take P5 by the looks of things, and Luca Tavanari takes the checkered flag to take P1. I'm assuming they're taking P2. McCoffin taking P3, that podium place that he defended well for, and he did so well to defend that. And I did say if we took our eyes off that battle we would miss something, and we did, but it was only fair to see Tavanari take that checkered flag. He's had a fantastic race this evening. He's gone flag to flag, he's taken pole position, and he has driven an absolutely solid race with absolutely no mistakes at all. Let's not forget we've still got some cars still on track. We've got Pinto still racing, and Mr. Lewis himself, the car number 14 of the BMW. I think overall that is a very good solid start to this Grid Finder Championships indeed. The World Sprint Championships that we've had tonight have offered action from start to finish. We didn't get to see that let me try and take that away there before the chat comes up, as you always get those people deciding to share their views there rather than the stew room later on. But you can see that we've had a great race there this evening for the first round of these sprint championships. And as previously mentioned, the SOP race entertainment always comes towards the end, and it definitely did then as well. I believe you've got John back with you next week for the sprint series, and I'm going to be picking up the British Sport British GT replica series as well, which John's going to be hosting the first one of those for me. I'd thank you everyone that joined me in the chat this evening. It's my first solo event with SOP, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and that race was fantastic. We saw action from start to finish, and especially some of those moves. Move for me was Liam Page into turn 11. That was a fantastic move up the inside, no fear at all. Bring back John. Well, you got him back next week, Harry, but you can listen to me on the Sunday nights if you prefer instead. But no, thank you for everyone that's joining me in the chat. I'm going to leave you with these highlights, and we will go from there. Thank you very much.
See your way, bring back John.
Yeah. Couldn't let you off without a little bit of abuse. Yeah, I know.
Discord's on the stream, mate, on the SOP one.